Hello, it's Greg Watford again, and welcome to this video. Now, in this video, we're going to be looking at signatures to emails. So I assume that you're in internet marketing and that you have an Aweber account where you have subscribers coming in and you're sending out broadcast emails and follow-up emails. So we're going to be looking at the signature that you put below your emails. Are you looking for a better signature than you're putting out right now? Because you can do a rather attractive signature that you can use on each of your emails. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a way to overcome one of the little hiccups with Aweber, because Aweber doesn't handle signatures very well at all. So just let me just show you a couple of examples here. So if we have a look at this, let's have a look at some emails. Okay, so here's an email here. It looks pretty bland, but the bit from here to here is actually the signature. And I'll show you where you go in Aweber to do a signature like that. It's a pretty ordinary sort of signature. I rarely use signatures like this at all. But what Wendy and I normally have for a signature is this. So that bit from there to there is the signature on all our emails. Whoops, actually, if you notice there, I haven't done the spacing right, so it should have been moved over. I only just quickly whipped this up just to show you on this video. Okay, so what we'd like to do is something like that, but what a lot of people do is something like that. Okay, so let's see how we actually do this. So I'm going to go to inside my Aweber account. And there's that email that I set up. And of course, what I did wrong was just the spacing there in front of that Skype. I would have taken it down another line. It's one of these little quirky things with Aweber to do with image boxes and text boxes. Anyhow, so that's the one I've just set up. But the way you normally set up a signature is you use snippets. And there's two examples of a snippet. There's the first name snippet and there's the signature snippet. And where you find the signature snippet is, of course, in personalize. If I was, let me just show you this. If I was doing this from scratch, personalize, and just scroll down on personalize on the top right, and there it is there. Your snippets. I just click it, and there it is. So what Aweber will do when it sends out the follow-up or the broadcast email, it will automatically put in whatever you have put in the little snippet box, which lives in list settings. So I'll just show you where it is. So I've gone here to list options. I'm in this list. I've called it test list. And in this list options, I've clicked list settings and I've gone to personalize your list. And in this bit here, that's where I've pasted, or I've typed it in, or I've pasted it in there. Now, one of the little quirky things with Aweber is Aweber does not handle HTML code in this snippets box. And if you do put HTML code in there, try it yourself. Go and get some HTML code, which I'll show you where to get it from in a minute. And you go and bung it in there and you go down the bottom and click save. What it does, it strips all the HTML coding out of it and just leaves the raw text. So therefore you end up with an email that looks like this, rather bland and uninteresting. Okay. So that's where you actually put the normal signature. It's just called email signature, and that's a snippet. Okay. Personally, I don't use it because they don't do the right thing. I like to have HTML emails. I like to have my emails looking like this. Sorry, my signatures looking like this at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set one of these up and how easy it is. Okay. So what we'll do is you need the HTML code, by the way. So first thing is we're going to generate some HTML code very easily, and then take that code and put it straight into a text box within your editor, your email editor within Aweber. So look, the one I recommend is this one. I reckon it's a beauty, right? It's called bestonlinehtmleditor.com. bestonlinehtmleditor.com. Just go to that and you end up with a page that looks like this with a couple of ads on the side to actually pay for it. So you can put in here anything you want text-wise, okay? So now, whenever I copy and paste anything to do with emails, just in general, I always put them through a basic text editor myself. So I use, this is Notepad that I'm using, and that's for Windows 7. Windows 10 uses Notepad++. You've got to download it. And Apple, iOS, uses, I think it's a thing called TextEdit. So what I've done just before I started the camera rolling on this, I typed that into this text box. The reason being is you can't put any formatting in here. Unlike a Word document, if you start typing in a Word document and then do a copy and paste, it brings a whole stack over when you do copy it. Oh, now by the way, regarding copy and paste, here's a tip. I suggest you get used to using your keyboard when copying and pasting rather than selecting and then going right click with a mouse. So it's Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay, Control A, it's Command A in Apple, in iOS. In Windows, it's Control. So Control A is select all, A for all. Control C is to copy, and Control V is to paste. And it's not P, it's V. The reason is Control P is used for print. So you can't have it used for both. So they've selected Control V because it's right next door to C. So C and V are right next door to one another. So you just go Control C, Control V, bang, bang, just like that. And here's one more tip. Try Control ZZ, or if you're in America, Control ZZ. It works brilliantly. It backspaces, it backsteps, it takes you back to before you made that error. It's great. Control ZZ. Really, really good. So, okay, so it's going to be Control A, Control C, Control V. So here we go, Control A, Control C, and we're going to go over to our HTML editor and just Control V. So I've now pasted that in there. Now I've got to make it look like this, this bit down the bottom. So what are we going to do next? I think probably what I'll do is let's go Control A. And I never use a default font on any of these editors. I don't use default font. Now, how do I know this is running default font right now? Is because see where it says font up here in size, it's not showing me what it is. It means it's defaulted to whatever the program is using as a default. So I've gone Control A to select all. I've gone font Arial, and I'm going to use Arial 14 because I know that works well. Okay, Arial 14 point. So that's what my text will look like. And what I want to do is I want to actually put an image in the middle here. Okay, the image being that picture there. So how do I actually get that picture there? This is really, really cool. So this is where I was setting up this email as an example to you just before I started the camera rolling. So this is just a test email. And this is how I normally put signatures in manually, right? So I've just typed that in there. I've changed the font. The pic, it goes in on an image box, and the little bit below is the Skype, an email address, or maybe even a phone number will be done as a text box. Okay, so I've done them manually. Now, what I want is the details of the pic. Your pic your image needs to be hosted somewhere. Now, you can host it on your own website, and there are photo type websites that do a little bit of hosting as well. But in this case, Aweber is already hosting this for me because I've already been using it. Okay, all I want to do is find out what's the address of that pic, the URL of that pic. And this is really cool. On the pic, so this is in your text editor, right? Sorry, your email editor. I'm right-clicking on the pic, and see where it says inspect? It opens up a box on the right-hand side. And if you have a look, it shows you the code. It's HTML coding, okay? So that's what it is, which looks really complicated, but don't get too hung up on it. What you're looking for is something with about Aweber written in it and with hosted images, okay? Now, because I went right-click on my smiling face, well, it's Wendy's smiling face, it already showed up here in the area where I needed. Okay, so all I've got to do is double click. And if you have a look, that says https dot 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 hosted images. Then there's an Aweber static.com and a long number. Okay, so I've double clicked on it, and I'm now going to go copy. I'm going to open up a new tab up the top, and I'm going to paste it in the URL window, and go enter, and there it is. If you look on the top left, you'll see my face, Wendy's smiling face. So it's proven, if you have a look at the URL, that it says hosted images, CDN, Aweber, static, blah, blah, blah. And this great long number. Well, the great long number ending in JPEG is what the image actually is. And so Aweber is hosting it for us. In other words, we've got the right address copied. Right. So now let's go back to our HTML editor, and we're going to add the image. Right. So up here in the image icon, I've just clicked on it. It asks me for the URL of that image. I want to click OK, and there it is. Bang! Look at that. That's all I had to do. Boom, boom. Now, what I'll do is I'll just tidy this up a little bit. I'm going to bold that, italics. I might go and screw that up to maybe 18 point or something like that. I'll bold that. I like all my links to be bolded, by the way. They look a bit better inside the email. So I've just bolded that. And what I'm doing is I'm going to convert this into a link. Now, if you don't convert it into a link, what you're doing is when you send the email out, you're relying on the email client to convert it into a link, because it recognizes the fact that it's an email address, so it'll come up as a link. But I like to actually set it up as a link anyhow. All right, so I'm going to copy that, and we're going to make a link over on the right hand side over here. You can see the link symbol over there, and you tell it it's an email. All right, so I've done that. Email address, paste it into there. So there we go. Click OK, bang, it's already done. So that's what roughly the signature looks like. Oh, what I'll do is I'll just finish it off. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a couple of spaces below and a couple of little 1, 2, 3, 4. It sort of pushes the address down a bit, and it makes as though the email is actually finished and not hard down the bottom. So, all right, that's it. Now, where do I get the code from, the source code? Up here, top left, can you see up there? It says source. That's the code. There it is. There's the HTML. So it's going Control A, Control C. I've now copied it onto my clipboard. And what do I do with it? I now go and put it inside Aweber. Now, look, you've got to save this code because you've set this up and you're looking to save yourself time. What I do is I use my I'll open up another notepad, and then I'll save it. For example, what I'll do is Control V. There it is there. Oops, I'll separate it. There. So that's the actual code there, and it's now saved. I will, just file save as in my notepad. So I'll have it somewhere where every time I go and make a new email up, I just go and bring this out, copy this, and bung it straight into Aweber as we're about to do. And I'll show you how easy it is. Okay, so we're going to go back to Aweber. Okay, so I'm going to close this device down here. And I'm going to get rid of all this signature that I put up before. I'm going to delete that. Oops, let's go there. I've just got to bring it to the middle. And then I'm going to delete that. Right. Okay. Whoops, it didn't delete. Go. Why is that? Try that. That's deleting. That's better. So that's the bottom of my email. You can see I've got my signature there. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Right. So that's the bottom of my my actual email itself. That's all the text that I've supposedly written. So how do I put the signature? Well, all you're going to do is grab what they call it a paragraph box. I call it a text box. So grab this paragraph box, drag it down the bottom. Right. So there it is there, just tucked in the bottom there. And if you look up here on the right-hand end of the toolbar across the top, it says source, meaning source code. So I'm clicking that, and it's showing me that it's got a little bit of stuff left over, HTML left over. I'm going to go Control A, delete. That removes everything. Control V, paste. Bang, it's done. Click OK. If I scroll down, look at that. There's the signature. and it's sitting inside that text box. Now, it requires a little bit of right now because it's not quite polished up. You know, about the spacing's not quite right there. I'll do that probably. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so if I click save, yeah, that looks all right. Oh, there's a space here I'd get rid of, right, to bring that a bit closer. What's it look like now? There you go, look at that. So that was, how many seconds did that take? Well, I know I had to build it, but once you build it, you don't have to build it once. You save the HTML code, okay? Let me just show you one other, because you may say, oh, that's a bit of a simple signature. You know, I can do that anytime I want. All it is a pic and a couple of lines of text. But what if you've got something more complex, or like a bigger than Ben-Hur? If you're old enough to remember that expression. Let me show you one. A signature this is. That one there. Try this. How about that signature? So that from the talk soon down is a signature, and it keeps going. There's more links there, and it ends with that image. So I've got actually 2 images in the signature, and a lot of links, and there's a lot of address information in there. And the last thing I'd want to do is to do this with every email. Okay, so this is where I said, okay, let's see how we can do it as a signature. Now, I'll just take you over to here. I've already got this saved because I built that. I've saved the HTML in our little text box called Notepad. So all you do is Control-A, Control-C. I've now copied that, bang, bang. Okay, I whip over to here. Let's go and remove all this. All right, so I'm now back to square one, just a basic text box. It's sitting in there. I now go source. Yes, it's empty. I'm going to go Control-V. It's pasted in there. Bang. And there it is. There is that signature all the way down there. See how easy that was? All right. So look, that's about covers it. What this email was really about is to overcome a problem, if you remember, with Aweber, in that Aweber does not like HTML signatures. And, well, I don't know about you, but I prefer HTML signatures. You can do a lot more with them. Okay, so instead of using the snippet where it says signature, no, you go and create a signature. You only have to do it once. Make it a good signature. Spend a bit of time. Be creative about it, and you make it up in this editor over here. Let's go back to normal. And that editor is bestonlinehtmleditor.com. And I'll put the link below, so you can just go and click on the link below this video for you. And bang, you can use that. So you spend all your time making up your signature here. You go to here, grab it by going the source code, that is Control-A, Control-C. Bang, I've now got it. It's the wrong one. Control-A, Control-C. I've now got it. And then I go and save it in a, you can save it in a Word document. It's better to save it just in it's purely a text editor like Notepad, Notepad++, or text edit. And you have it tucked away somewhere that you can go and get it any time that you want. And you just go to Aweber, and remember what we did? We put it in the code up the top. So the source code, that is, the button. Click source code, bang. And that's only showing the source code for that particular box that I had the cursor clicked in, by the way. It doesn't show the source code for the whole of the email. It's sort of like bit by bit. Okay, so look, I think that about wraps it up. I do hope you found value in this video, and I look forward. Oh, by the way, if you did find value, like, comment, and share, please. Okay, and I look forward to catching you in a future video. Okay, bye for now.